this business, and I thank you for all of the first responders that are here and those that are other places in our county and throughout the country, and pray that you will be with them and keep them safe. I pray that you take care of people during this storm and just be with us and guide us through our work. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Public address, do we have anybody to address the commission tonight? The minutes were emailed to you earlier this week. Floor will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved as recorded. Administrative reports. Supervisor Kitts is not with us tonight. Ms. Hill.
Thank you. Supervisor Kit sends his regrets. He was planning to be here, but that he's got problems related to the storm at his work business that he owns, so he wasn't able to attend. But he did ask me to send his regrets. We are about to start the new year. I appreciate all of you who came and worked on audit stuff this evening. I know it makes for a long meeting and we didn't have anything to eat between the meetings. We'll plan better next time. We recently, the Board of Supervisors approved Supervisor King Reiner Fire's Supervisor King, Chief King Reiner Fire's request for funding for some turnout gear and other equipment. So that went well. I think that next year as we move forward, we'll try to do that at the same time as we do the budget. And then if we can get it in with that typical cycle, it might be a little bit easier for you guys and for the board too. But that was well received. So thank you for that, Chief. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. NRV.
The one thing I have this month is very excitedly, we are finally under contract for the new radio system. And that's been a project that we all first started talking about 17 years ago, when we first started talking about a countywide regional radio system. And the contract's been signed on it. We all agreed not to order radios until after next July. But in the meantime, in this next fiscal year, if you have radios that break, or you need a couple extras, or you have a new vehicle coming in, get with us, because it's probably better that we go ahead and put a new radio in instead of buying one that may be obsolete in 30 months or 36 months. Yeah. The authority board, I know they're very excited about that project to finally bring it forward.
We are excited about that. It's been a long time, like Jason said, and I know that that's an important thing that will help everyone in the community communicate better, be able to hear each other, and all the places. It'll take a little bit longer to get there, but I know that all the elected officials in the county and the two towns are really on board with the project.
And build time will be 30 to 36 months. So we're pushing the button and talking in about 3 years.
So are the new radios backwards compatible?
The new radio system is going to be in the 700, 800 band, so your UHF radios won't talk on that. So we'll have to, public safety is slated to get all new multi-band radios. So the new radios will be backwards compatible with UHF, but your existing radios won't be forwards compatible.
So I've got a new ambulance. I need a radio in now. Would it be?
Yeah, like when will you have the ambulance?
It's in the station now, but not in service.
Has it already, it's probably too late to put cables in it, right? Because it's already been, the inside's already been built?
It's cabled though, I mean, but it's probably different.
It's different cables because it's a different manufacturer. Yeah. Yeah, that one's probably a little too far along, so you can, because you already have a radio bought and ready to go in that one already, because we had talked about that one before. Yeah, I'd say that's okay, and then we'll just be sure we spec a new one to put in that.
Any questions or comments from the right. Moving on to whole business. NRV 911 Advisory Committee meeting. Michael.
I don't have a whole lot to report on joint advisory this month. Chief English, I don't know if you have anything either. Really, at our last joint advisory meeting, we talked about a couple of our visits to Henrico and to Roanoke, which I think we've already talked about a little bit in this group. We meet again in September, and we'll report back if there's anything else that comes up from the group.
And Michael presented some information to the 911 Authority Board. That board appreciates your work on that too, because it's important to get the feedback and input. So thank you guys.
Any other old business? Moving on to new business. VFIS underwriter recommendations, Michael.
I'll get started and then turn it over to Michael. VFIS completed a risk assessment for the fire and rescue agencies in March of 2022, and they do that periodically to see the things that we're doing well, the things that we can do better to help us make sure that we're doing all the things we can to keep our premiums as low as they can be and provide the coverages that we need. And we received a follow-up letter recently that requesting an update on the status of the recommendations that they provided that'll help address potential hazards and loss exposures that the volunteer agencies might face in the future. So Michael's going to walk us through those recommendations, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what the real importance of that was. And we care about you. We want you to be safe. And so we want to make sure that these things are things that will help us and that we can provide the training that you need so that everyone can stay safe and do your jobs as I know everyone is able to do the best that they can and really provide such a great service to our citizens. So I'll let you take it over.
Yep. So we had, I think it's 7 recommendations that came back from VFIS, and some of you all may remember some of these, some of them you may not, but I'll run through some of them real quick and hit some ideas that we've thought of to try and address some of these things. So the first is implementing ongoing driver training. Basically, what VFIS is asking is that we put on something similar to the classroom portion of an EVOC class. Drew and I were talking about that a little bit earlier. And I know Mark Bowery's spoken to this group before about the VFIS University that they have online that has some training available that's more at your pace to be able to go in and watch just to kind of keep yourselves updated. But there is some driver-specific training in that VFIS University that you may be able to get into within each one of your own departments to be able to put on that ongoing training. If that's not an option, we could always put on a more formal training with Drew's help, whether we come out to your departments and do it or whether we do something at the training center in one of the parking lots at Tech. It's really meant more for the classroom to go over legal risks, any laws that have changed, but mainly the classroom portion that's hit during the EVOC class. We could certainly look at adding more of a competency component to that to be able to go out and drive, but really it's trying to hit the classroom stuff more. The next one on here that we were not able to come up with a great answer for. This one's much more agency specific, but develop privately owned vehicle response guidelines. So for your members that are responding from their home, work, wherever the case may be, either to the station or to the scene, having each agency develop some sort of procedure, SOP that outlines what they are and aren't able to do. There are obviously some stuff in code that says what they can and can't do running their POV, but they're looking for us to put something on paper that is agency specific. The next one, and again, something that I think that we can support the departments with, is enhancing written emergency vehicle response safety guidelines. That's something that we just went through with the vehicle speed school zone policy internally here that limits the speed that we can go in posted zones and in school zones to increase the safety of our responders. So that's something that is fresh to us that we've recently worked on that we believe may hit some of what they're asking for in this. And it ultimately is made to protect responders, but also to protect the public. So if that's something you guys would like help with, we'd be more than happy to. This next one is a little bit of a reach, which we totally understand, but having medical evaluations for drivers. So any of your clear drivers, the best thing that I could think of was the NFPA 1582, the NFPA physical that we send our career folks to each year, that does a lot more than just a routine medical physical, but is looking, again, mainly to keep responders safe, that they're not putting themselves in harm's way if they get behind the wheel of a vehicle. But that was another one of the recommendations that came back from VFIS. The last two, I believe these are probably the easiest ones on the list. So hose securement, which most trucks in the county already have from the manufacturer to comply with NFPA standards, but securing speed blaze, bumper lines, any LDH coming off the back. And again, I think that's something that we can help with, whether it's a quick, easy installing some sort of mesh on trucks. But that's another one of their recommendations. The last one here is something that if you all would like, we'd be happy to come to the stations and do for you. But obtaining and posting vehicle height and weight somewhere that's visible to the driver of the apparatus for them to have better situational awareness of all the dimensions of the truck that they're driving and any restrictions associated with the weight and height. So those two, I think, are a little bit easier than the rest of the list, but we'd be happy to help with any of these. And as Angie said, it's mainly to help keep our premiums low. Like Angie had mentioned too, they had reached out for a status update on this. And it's been 3 years since these recommendations came back out. So anything that we can do to help kind of expedite this process and help get it to the forefront to put these things in place, we'd be happy to help. The last thing I'll mention, and Chief English had actually pinged me about this a couple weeks ago. State law is changing on July 1st in regards to seatbelts, that every passenger in the vehicle has to be wearing a seatbelt. Currently, there's no exemption for emergency vehicles. So like in an ambulance where you have patient care going on in the back or in the back of a fire truck when you're packing up to go on a call, because there's no exemption right now, there is that kind of liability that sits out there that if you were to get into an accident, that either insurance could deny it, workers' comp could deny it, because that code exists. We're working with the county attorney right now to kind of determine how we best need to approach that. But it is something that we want to make sure everybody's well aware of. So as always, encourage your folks to try and put a seatbelt on whenever they can. Obviously, there's some scenarios where it's not possible, and I'm sure at some point the state's going to realize that and make adjustments to it. But as of right now, July 1st, that will go into effect. That's all I've mentioned.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that?
Oh, I did have one thing. On like the ongoing driver training, so I can teach refresher things to the VBRS or anybody wants to do that. So yeah, we can just do a refresher class and just do the classroom part of it.
Anything like that would be perfect.
Did they give a frequency, like how often?
So I'll pass some of these around so you guys can take a look at them. There's more detail than what I had gone into this evening. And I'd be happy to send those recommendations out to everybody. I believe it states in here that it's annual driver training. So yeah, annual classroom training is what they recommend.
I will offer one comment on the driver competency thing. I don't know if you guys see I think it's called the secret list, firefighter list. There was a thing that came out today about a EMS crash in Montana. The driver of the ambulance was 84 years old. And the vehicle that And it didn't give details on who was at fault, but I think the ambulance, from what I could read between the lines, was making a left turn, responding to a call, and crashed with another vehicle. The driver of the other vehicle was 85 years old. So, I thought that was kind of. They said the 84-year-old was a very active member.
Do you want them to reach out to you with some feedback so we can get the letter back?
Yeah, if you all have anything that we can help you work on or any questions about any of this, just reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.
Right. Any other comments on that? All right, moving on to discipline reports. Chief English, we'll start on your side.
Only thing I got two super quick things. One, I found out this afternoon that the Western Virginia EMS Council, which is our regional EMS council currently, they had been, I guess, in kind of a holding pattern with their distribution pharmacy to be able to help agencies acquire medications. So far, pretty much everyone's been having to use their own options. Apparently that system is live, and so if you're interested in purchasing medications through the council's pharmacy instead of having to kind of source everything yourself, just reach out to Chris Christensen and he can turn you on. He said all of the agencies are already put into it. He just needs to know that you want to do that, and he can basically turn it on and give you a link so that you can get on there. The only other thing I have, we've got 2 fall EMT classes coming up. The hybrid, kind of mostly online version that Mike Kirk teaches, the registration's already open and it closes July 5th. So that one's coming up quick. And then PJ's class, which is kind of the more normal weekly meeting class, registration opens July 28th. So you got about a month before registration opens, but if you're interested in either class, you can sign up. It's on our website and social media.
Thank you, Chief. Blacksburg Fire.
Just want to say thanks to Long Shop and Crucible Fire Department on the help on the 2 past structure fires we've had recently.
The only thing, our 2 biggest PR programs are coming up. August 16th, Touch a Truck over at the mall, and September the 23rd, I believe, 3rd Saturday, Wilderness Trail, if we have a place to have it on Main Street. So.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Nothing
Rescue.
for me.
Rider Rescue, Chief.
Only thing I got is we'll be hosting an EVOC class, be Class 1 and Class 2, July the 10th, 11th, and 12th. The 10th and the 11th will start at 6 p.m. and go to 10, and the 12th will start at 8 o'clock. If anybody needs it or wants to take the class, they can go to the VRS website and sign up.
Chief.
I don't have anything.
Elson.
The remainder of our extrication tools was supposed to come in today. I'm not sure if they have. I haven't got a chance to get in there yet. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Check report.
No report from Long Shop Rescue. Michael, you have a report for us?
The only thing that I'll say, the RFP for the comprehensive fire and rescue study that we've talked about a few times in this group was posted on June 16th, I believe. So if you know any consultants that would be interested in bidding that you think would do a good job studying our services, encourage them to look into it and put in a proposal.
Monthly call reports were in the packet that was emailed out. anything else that needs to come before the commission tonight? Hearing none, next meeting is